Everyone, it's Lisa here. So I know normally I do the sketch challenges on Sunday, but I thought I would do a color challenge instead. So I'm gonna post a little bit of a picture here for my color inspiration this week, and then I hope you can kind of maybe pull some products from your stash to coordinate to those particular colors. So it's kind of a citrus kind of theme, if you saw that picture in the beginning. So I'm just going to show you the papers that I chose. I'm just going to fan them out a little bit here, and then I will show you what the colors or what the papers are. So the first one I have is this nautical. This is from Fancy Pants, and this one's called Boat Dock. This is the other side, which I really like. I may or may not use this. This is ruffle paper from Dear Lizzy. It's older, so I'm not sure if I will use it, but I do like it. This one is from Dear Lizzy Daydreamer, and it's called Hula Hoop. It's this on this side, but I'm going to use it for this pink. This is again from the Nautical line, and it's called Lighthouse. That's the back side. This is an older paper from Yes Please from Amy Tan, and it's just single-sided. This one's Polka Dot Party from Dear Lizzy, and it's called Cleaver Card. Yeah, Cleaver Card. So I'm using it for that side. And then this one's the Neapolitan line from Dear Lizzy, again an older line, and it's called Simple Romance, and this is the back side. And then I do have this vellum from Studio Calico I picked up a while ago, and I think it's from the Wanderlust line. I'm not really sure, but it's really pretty vellum, so I'm going to be using that. If you don't have this particular vellum, just take normal vellum and just do some gold embossing on it with a background stamp, and you'll achieve the same effect. So there's that. And then I have these alphas, which I'm kind of looking at more like this one, and then maybe this little bit of this red corally color, but there's some of these other colors that I can pull out as well with the orange. So that is what I pulled for some product. I'm sure other products will come into play later, but for now I will just show you the papers, and we'll get started. So hang tight.
Okay, so here you can see I'm kind of going through my papers, and I don't necessarily have a plan per se. I just know I wanted the pictures kind of like one's to the top and one's to the bottom, just because they are two different things. I kind of wanted to almost make it like two separate parts of a page. Here I have a Prima, I think it's called just a dot background, but it's just a stencil. So I'm using some of the Color Bloom Mist, and I'm using the Sunshine, and I think it's called Glistening Waves, or the other one is Soft Teal. It's one of those two. The two look really close to one another, so I wasn't really sure which one I used. And this background paper is that nautical kind of creamy colored background, and just gave it a quick little dry with my heat gun. And here I have a Heidi Swapp stencil that I'm going to use some textured modeling paste with. You could use embossing paste as well. I just wanted to try out the golden modeling paste. So here I'm just going in, no rhyme or reason, just using some of this modeling paste and putting that down just in a couple different spots, and then I just use my baby wipe to wipe it up and clean it off. So here I'm just going to dry that up real quick again. And I have this paper from Dear Lizzy Neapolitan, and it's got this really cute little frame around it. I don't really care for what's on the inside, so all I'm going to do is just trim my pattern paper that I had made myself, and just trim it down and make it fit inside that little square, so that way I have a nice little edge around all that pattern paper. And if you do want to keep the middle of the pattern paper, just cut it out so that you have a little square chunk in the middle. I don't really care because I've got a lot of pattern paper, so it doesn't bother me to just use a piece of paper like that anyway. And I find it makes the paper quite a bit more sturdy. So here I'm just gluing down the whole thing so you can see I've got that nice little kind of orange background going on. And it just frames that pattern paper up real nice. So I had my pictures originally cut to 3x4, and they just kind of felt a little big, so I wanted to cut them down just a little bit more. So I ended up cutting them to 3x3s instead. And then I just cut a strip of that Amy Tan Yes Please paper, and I'm not really measuring, I'm just going by eyesight on how wide I want those strips. I want it just a little wider than the pictures when they're overlapped. And then I'm just doing the same thing with this blue strip that's from that nautical line from Fancy Pants as well. And again, I'm just doing the same thing, I just want it a little wider than that other pattern paper underneath it. So here I'm just going to start kind of creating layers, and I wanted to mat these pictures just so that they don't fade into each other, because there's a lot of colors in them, and if you mat them, then they kind of don't blend into each other. Like I said, there's a lot of colors going on, and you can see when I do that, it kind of defines the edge of those pictures so you know where one picture starts and one picture ends. So that's what I did. I just trimming with my scissors. I don't want it. It doesn't matter to me if it's perfectly straight or not, because it's all part of layering. So here you can just see I kind of like those layers. I'm just going to start gluing everything down. And again, just creating some layers here with this pattern paper. And I'm going to have to shove that one down just a little bit just because I had it up too high. So here I'm going to create my title. I always like to try, if at all possible. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of one of those hindsight things. I try to get my title on there as soon as I can, just so I know where it's going to go, and then I can kind of plan out where my journaling's going to go and kind of make a little bit of a plan. I don't usually plan too much, but I do like to try and figure out where I'm going to put my title first before I get too involved, because otherwise I usually end up not thinking about it, and I need to kind of plan it. I need to plan so that way I can think about where it's going to go, where my journaling's going to go, rather than just putting it on and then it looks like it was just a forced title. Like it looks like I was just trying to fit it in wherever I could. So here I'm just going to create some fun little banners. I'm using some of the border strips from some of the pattern paper. That one's from the Neapolitan line, from that background piece of paper that I had used for that orange kind of photo mat, I guess would be. And then I'm just using some of these scratched pieces of paper and just creating some banners as well. But it kind of felt like these little banners needed just something else to stick onto. So I took some of that Punchinella vellum and just trimmed it down, and then I'm just going to glue it on, and that's going to just help those banners just kind of have a little bit of a resting place for them, just because there's so many of those pattern pieces of paper that are close to what's already being used, so it's just going to help define the lines between them. And here's that other bit that's left of it. Now, rather than cutting a whole strip of that Punchinella, because I'm trying to conserve the heck out of it, I just trimmed off a little bit to put on one side of that photo and then put the other bit on the other side. One of the color inspirations that I was kind of missing was this pink color. It's a bright pink that's in that photo, if you refer back to that photo, and it's I didn't have any pink in there, so I added this little bit of pink, and it really does actually add some, and I knew I needed some more pink, so I'm going to use some of this Bubblegum Hero Arts ink, and I love that ink. I can't say enough about Hero Arts. I love their ink. And so that's bringing another pink element back in. I'm going to use some of this leftover paper that I used on the frames, and this is the Tide Pool Hero Arts ink, and I'm just going to stamp these cameras out, and then I'm just going to cut them out real quick, and I'm going to use those as an embellishment on the page. It's just going to trim those out real quick, and I'm going to actually use some foam dots to pop them up. So you'll see that in a minute here. So here I am with the foam dots and just adding them in. And you can see I had a spot already in mind for that camera beside the title. So that adds a little bit of emphasis to the title as well. Now with putting the camera on the bottom left side of the photo or of the page, that kind of creates a little bit of flow between the two elements. So here's some color bloom in the gold foil that I sprayed on this mat, and then I'm just rubbing some of these wood elements in, and these are from Teresa Collins. I think they're called I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and see if I can remember it. And I used the gold foil on it. Now the actual gold part of it doesn't necessarily look gold, but it doesn't have the shine, but it has the darker wood look to it, which I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more beachy, if that's a word. So yeah, you can see I've done that, and I've just got some 6x6 scrap pieces of paper that were in my stash, and I'm just going to glue them down. The other thing you can see in the photo is I have a couple paper clips that I've added that I did off camera. I have an arrow that's up by the title that's pointing to the water slide, and then I have a camera down on the left or on the bottom pictures that's going to add another little paper clip element, and so that way it adds kind of a little bit of balance between the two pictures. So again, we're kind of just adding some more of these wood elements up to the top. These are some chevrons that I'm just going to glue in kind of in sequence so that it points to the camera. Also directs flow from the top of the picture down to the bottom. So that's another way to draw your eye is through arrows. So there I'm just kind of gluing down those arrows, and then here I'm just picking out the middle of the letters. I find it's easier to use my paper picker. I don't know if that's what you call it, but anyway, to pick the middle of the letters out if I want them all with the middle of the letters out. Otherwise, I'll just leave them in if it doesn't really bother me. I'm also using it to put some letters in the middle of this little flag frame that I have here to put the word July. And so yeah, here I'm just going to do some quick journaling, and I'm just talking about how you know, on hot days, to make it exciting for the kids, we would fill the water, the little kiddie pool up with water, wait till it got hot, and then the kids would slide from the water slide down into the pool, and it was such a fun time to, you know, watch them do that. So here I'm going to slow it down so you guys can see the close-ups and you guys can see the texture of the modeling paste as well as the mist. And now you're going to see some of the close-up pictures of the layout. So thanks everybody for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave them below in a comment and I will try to answer them for you. I will see you guys soon. Bye.